Welcome back to class. We are going to move on to part 2 of our persuasive techniques learning. Okay, so we're going to review here the big 3, and then we're going to learn some other methods of persuasion that people use, and we're going to try to categorize them and see if we can fit each new technique underneath one of the big 3. So if we look at our objectives for today, it says when we are done with this lesson, you should be able to 1. Categorize each persuasive technique as an example of ethos, pathos, or logos. We'll see if we can make that happen. 2. Identify the claims being made in various media sources. And 3. Explain how each media source uses persuasive techniques to sway audience opinion. So what we're doing today is really only part 1 of this lesson. So for the most part, we're going to be focusing on this right here. Okay, categorizing each technique as an example. So a review here of our big 3. We have ethos, credibility, and ethics. That's when we have, somebody who should know better, a believable source telling us that we need to believe something, do something, buy something. Logos is logic and reason. This is when the advertiser or creator of propaganda or creator, just in general, will use logic and reason to appeal to us and try to convince us. So they might use facts or statistics. Sorry, it's been a long day. And pathos is when a creator will use our emotions and our feelings to try to sway us to think or do one thing or another. So, subcategories of the big 3. Keep in mind that all of these techniques intend to change your mind, okay? And I found this little image here that I liked because it really made a lot of sense. Manipulate, influence, win. Whenever somebody is trying to persuade us, they are trying to manipulate us, okay? They are trying to influence us, and they want to win us over. So there are many, many techniques that are used to persuade, more than we're going to discuss in this lesson, but the ones that I've chosen are the ones that I think are probably the most relevant to everyday life, okay? All of these techniques should somehow fall under the big 3. And again, all of these techniques intend to change your mind. They want to manipulate you, they want to influence you, and they want to win. They want to win you over. Win your money, win your vote, win your thoughts, win your support. They want to win. So the first one we're going to look at is repetition. And repetition is when somebody uses words, phrases, sounds, or images, and they repeat them over and over and over for emphasis. Many philosophers and strategists have said that if you hear something often enough, it becomes true. Maybe not necessarily for real true, but it at least becomes true in your mind. So if somebody lies to you enough, you might start to believe it. And conversely, if somebody tells you the truth often enough, you might just start to believe it. Okay, so I think that one of the most famous examples of repetition that we see is in Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. So I'm just going to play just a clip of this speech so that you can hear how he uses repetition to really drive home his point.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creeds. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And before the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
We will keep his dream alive. MixedNation.com. Join now.
So that repetition, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. Okay. He wants you to buy into his dream. Bandwagon. So the example I've used for bandwagon is one of my favorites from my childhood. I can very vaguely remember this being a commercial that I heard on TV and on the radio all the time. The bandwagon technique tries to convince the audience by basically telling you that everybody else is doing it, so you should too. The idea of jumping on the bandwagon. Get on the wagon with us and you can be cool like we are. So this is a really campy, cheesy old commercial, but it is a perfect example of the bandwagon technique. So let's check it out.
I drink Dr. Pepper and I'm proud. I'm part of an original crowd. And if you look around these days, there seems to be a Dr. Pepper craze. I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper. If you drink Dr. Pepper, you're a pepper too. Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Be a pepper, drink.
And I don't know about you guys, but after seeing that, I most definitely want to be part of that crowd. So I'm going to go grab myself a Dr. Pepper right now. Actually, I don't really like Dr. Pepper that much, but don't tell the people who made the commercial. Stacking the deck. So if you've ever played cards, you may have heard somebody accused of stacking the deck. And what that means is that whoever is dealing the cards somehow arranges the deck so that when it is dealt, the right people get the best cards. Okay? Same idea applies to this particular propaganda technique. This is when you manipulate the audience's perception of an issue by making unfair comparisons or deliberately leaving out information that would go against the speaker's claim. So you basically only put the best cards into the recipient's hand, okay? And you ignore all the bad cards. So an example of this would be this Sun Chips ad. So it tells you there's 18 grams of whole grain, as much as a slice of wheat bread, that there's less salt than you think, whatever that means. It's kind of vague, but less salt than you think. 30% less fat than regular potato chips, 0 trans fat, 0 cholesterol. It even has a little picture here of what I assume is a piece of wheat bread. Oops, got to back up. That's the next one. And so basically they're telling you all these really, really great things about Sun Chips, okay? So they make you think, oh my gosh, Sun Chips are totally healthy for me. Must eat all the Sun Chips. But it doesn't tell you any of the bad stuff about the Sun Chips, okay? It doesn't tell you, well, okay, maybe it's 30% less fat than regular chips, but there's still an awful lot of fat in these chips. There's still an awful lot of calories. You still have to eat an awful lot of them to fill yourself up, as opposed to eating something like an apple or a bowl of grapes where it would actually be more healthy for you, less fattening, more vitamins and minerals, and would make you feel full sooner. Okay. So stacking the deck is basically that. Okay. You give all the information that supports your perspective, but you ignore the information that would contradict your perspective. All right. So I'm back here to Drake. Celebrity endorsement. A celebrity endorsement is when you use famous people to promote a product or a person or an idea. So the suggestion here is that you can be just like that celebrity if you do what that celebrity does or consume what that celebrity consumes. Okay. So here is a Sprite commercial starring Drake.
Yo, what's up?
I'm just not feeling it.
Last name ever, first name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with. Started off.
All right. So the suggestion here, the claim being, well, if you drink Sprite, then you can rap like Drake. Testimonial is really, really similar, okay? Really similar to the celebrity endorsement, except that a testimonial doesn't necessarily have to be a celebrity, okay? So a lot of times testimonials do use celebrities, but they don't necessarily have to. So this is having someone who should know give testimony that a product or idea is either good or bad. So testimony is when you think of court, right? Let's look at what testimony means according to vocabulary.com. When you give testimony, you are telling what you saw or what you know. Your testimony that your hand was not in the cookie jar goes against the testimony of several eyewitnesses. The Latin root for testimony is testis, meaning witness. Eyewitness testimony is a phrase you will hear often in legal discussions. An object can also give testimony without speaking, of course. The statue they built of you outside the bowling alley offers testimony to your greatness. So, different definitions: something that serves as evidence, a solemn statement made under oath, an assertion offering firsthand authentication of a fact. Okay, it's when you give witness to something. So when we look at a testimonial like this one here, we see that, this dude would know about the icy hot patch, right? Like, he's going to have aches and pains all the time. So he should know that icy hot really, really works when you have aches and pains, because an NBA basketball player is the perfect guy to know. And I'm sorry, I'm waving because I have like a fruit fly or something flying in front of my face here. So that's a testimonial. Now, just because he happens to be famous doesn't necessarily mean that all testimonials use famous people. Okay. You might have a doctor or a lawyer, or, even somebody who isn't even really a judge, or, who they come in and they say, well, I get testimony that this particular thing is true, that this particular product is the best, yada, yada, yada. They don't have to necessarily be famous. They just have to be a credible source, somebody you can believe. So again, it may or may not be a celebrity endorsement, but they often do use celebrities. Plain folks. So plain folks is when the speaker wants the audience to believe that he or she is just one of the common people, just like you. So you have some person who is like in some way powerful or famous, and they say or do something to make you think that they have the same problems that you do. So let's see what Lindsay Lohan here has to say.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lohan. Do you stress out about your skin? Do you freak when you break out overnight? Well, help is on the way. It's called Proactive Solution. I'm a normal person and I do get zits. And I'm not happy when I do, so I like to try and find anything that's preventative towards it, and Proactive has done that for me. Proactive heals acne, but the best thing is it's super gentle, so it works every day like skincare. That's how I use it, and it works.
Now's your chance to join Lindsay Lohan and millions more who've cleared their skin with Proactive Solution. Named Best Acne Treatment by Allure Magazine.
I don't like breakouts. I don't want breakouts, so I use Proactive every day, and I don't get breakouts.
Developed by 2 Stanford-trained dermatologists, Proactive is the #1 best-selling acne system in America.
Acne's random. It shows up by surprise. My skin, thanks to Proactive, is clear all the time.
Wouldn't you like to be clear too? Get a 30-day kit of Proactive for just $19.95. With Proactive's proven 3-step system, you can heal acne today and prevent future breakouts tomorrow.
It's standard, and it has the 3 steps, and it's easy to take with you. It's also easy to travel with, which I find really good. I actually think I keep some in my car, too.
Try Proactive now and get a special free gift. It's the amazing refining mask designed to zap problem zits fast.
I use the actual refining mask, and I put it on overnight, and it dries it up really quickly, which is great. Proactive guarantees your face will be clean, healthy, and blemish-free, or your money back. So with a 60-day guarantee, why not try it? What have you got to lose? Everyone has breakouts and blemishes, and I recommend trying Proactive. Proactive Solution. You know about it, you've heard about it, but have you tried it?
Act quickly and receive a free upgrade to priority mail shipping. Call 1-800-537-9900.
I'm Lindsay Lohan, and I'm proud to be Proactive.
All right, so Lindsay Lohan wants you to think that she is just like you and I. And she wants us to believe that she uses Proactive and that is why her skin is so absolutely amazingly phenomenal. Okay? Maybe she uses it, maybe she doesn't. But we're supposed to believe that. Name calling. Okay, the Latin term for this is ad hominem. Ad hominem means against the man in Latin. Name calling is exactly what it looks like and exactly what it sounds like. It's when you try to discredit your source by calling them names. So using negative words to describe a person or group with the intent of making them look bad. This could also be used in the opposite way, like to paint a person in a positive light, but usually it's negative. Okay, so we see this cartoon here of the president, and he is saying, I've canceled the summit with Kim. He's talking about Kim Jong-un from North Korea. Because that short, fat, maniac madman and very bad dude resorted to name calling. So the joke here is supposed to be that that Trump is going to refuse to confer with Kim Jong-un because that guy name calls. But the irony being that Trump is widely known for name calling all the time. Whenever he doesn't like what somebody says or what somebody does, he usually comes up with some sort of little nickname for them, right? So name calling is a really, really common method. And it's kind of funny because you might think of this as something that kids do on a playground, but really adults still do it all the time. Transfer. So what transfer does is it transfers one idea onto something or someone else. Okay, so it associates the qualities of a person, object, or idea with the qualities of another person, object, or idea, in hopes that the audience will come to think that they are one in the same. So when we look at this image here, it has President Obama here in the middle, and it has, oh my gosh, I cannot remember their names right now, but 3 other Democrat Congress people, important people, political people. And the background and the theme, it says get to work. And it's this basically this Chinese image, okay? This idea of communist China. And it also has these little donkeys here, and the donkeys are the symbol of the Democratic Party. So what the creator of this media wants you to believe, the claim here, is that the Democrats really are all just a bunch of communists. okay? And that they want to turn this world into the next communist China. That's an example of transfer. Glittering generality. When we're general, it means that we express something so broadly that there are no specifics. Something so general that it could really just mean anything, okay? So the definition here is using a vague word or phrase to evoke a feeling rather than to actually convey meaningful information. So what they do is say something so general that it can be interpreted in many, many different ways. So in this ad here, it's got a picture of a guy back here, and it says, "It's time for men to man up." The question is, what does it mean to man up? Okay, what does it mean to be a man? Somebody says, be a man, man up. We have our social ideas of what it means to be a man, but really that is so general. It could mean just about anything. Okay, so a glittering generality, when somebody says, freedom, that's another example of a glittering generality, because what really is freedom to one person may not be the same idea to another. So this is an error, and I am going to take that slide out, okay? What you're going to do is this. I have created a slide for each of you. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab a slide. You're going to claim one. So like at the top of this one, let me get out of this mode here so that I can actually type on them. And I'll change the directions on my slide here. I made an error. All right, so there are many of these slides, and as you have in the past, you're going to claim one of them. So when you grab your slide, you're going to put your name at the top. So maybe today my name is Buffy, just because Buffy, why not, right? It says drag and drop the names of each persuasive technique to the category under which you think they best fit. So you can't move these middle ones at all, okay? All you can do is move these little guys down here. So what I want to do is I want to take bandwagon, and what I'm going to drag it to wherever I think it belongs. If I think it's best fits under pathos, I'll put it there. If I think it best fits under ethos, I'll put it there. If I think it best fits under logos, I'm going to put it there. All right? And I want you to really think about this, and you're going to have to be able to defend your decisions. So this is all I want you to do for today. We are going to move on with more tomorrow. But for now, just think about categorizing. Okay? And that is your assignment for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.